Okay, very good morning, children. So, in our previous period, we have completed a geography lesson, no? That is India soils. So, today we will discuss a history lesson. We'll start a long history lesson. So, before starting the class, I would like to show you the pictures of photos of four governor generals, four British governor generals who gave different contributions. Okay. So first we'll start with Lord Cornwallis. So this is the picture of Lord Cornwallis. See, this Lord Cornwallis, he played a very important role. So this person for British East India Company, okay, in establishing their power in India, in occupying many places, in defeating many kings. So this person played a very important role. Particularly, he played very important role in Anglo-Mysore wars in defeating Tipu Sultan. So this is Lord Cornwallis. You should know this person. He was one of the viceroys of English East India Company. Okay. Yes. Here we have another picture of Lord Cornwallis. Yes. See, this is Lord Cornwallis. In this lesson, many times we are going to take the name of this person, Lord Cornwallis. So next one, we will have the picture of Lord Wellesley. Okay. See, who introduced subsidiary alliance, Akshay? It was Lord Wellesley, no? So this is Lord Wellesley, 1798. In this year, he introduced subsidiary alliance in India. So Anglo-Maratha War you have studied, no? So how he played very important role in Anglo-Maratha War. Two Anglo-Maratha wars. So first Anglo-Maratha War and second Anglo-Maratha War. After the completion of second Anglo-Maratha War, this person had to resign from his post because he was criticized for his war thirstiness. Okay, he was very much thirsty for wars. So it had become a burden for English East India Company, financial burden. The wars which Lord Wellesley fought, no, they became financial burden for East India Company. For that purpose, he was criticized, and that is why he had to resign after 1805, after the completion of Second Anglo-Maratha War. So again, see his picture. This is Lord Wellesley, who introduced a cunning technique called subsidiary alliance to establish their power, East India Company's power in India. Yes. Next person is, yes, here we have the picture of Lord Dalhousie. Okay, you remember, no? Lord Dalhousie, he is the person who introduced doctrine of lax policy in India. Kittur Rani Channamma, Jhansi Rani Lakshmi Bai. Okay, all these great women of India, they fought against this doctrine of lax and they gave their life, no? So it was Lord Dalhousie who introduced doctrine of lax in India. Yes. Next we have, yes, see, this is Lord Warren Hastings. Lord Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of India. Up to 1773, English East India Company, it used to rule from different places. See, whoever officers were there in Madras region, they looked after the administration there. Whoever in charge of East India Company's office in Mumbai region, they used to look after the administration of Mumbai. Again, whoever was the high officer in Bengal region, no, he used to look after the administration in Bengal. But after 1773, in the year 1773, the British Parliament, it passed an important act called the Regulating Act. So here you should know the meaning of the term, the regulating. To regulate means to control. Okay, what is the meaning of to regulate? To control. See, British East India Company wanted to control the act, British Parliament, British Parliament wanted to control the activities of British East India Company in India, and that is why to control the activities, it passed an important act called the Regulating Act. So after this act, a new post was created in India and it was called the Governor General. Okay. So this Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of India. He became the Governor General. He got the power over all the three presidencies. So in the beginning, initially British had three important presidencies: the Mumbai presidency, the Bengal presidency, and the Madras presidency. So all these three states were independent. But after 1773, Bengal presidency got control over other two presidencies, and the governor of Bengal was appointed as the Governor General. He got control over all the three presidencies. So this is Lord Warren Hastings. Okay. Yes. Yes. See, all these persons. See, you may expect questions on all these people in your competitive examination. Do not remember these people only for the sake of your SSLC exams. Okay. So UPSC exam irli athwa nimdu first division clerk, second division clerk, SDA, FDA exams irbodu. Athwa you may have to take part in the teacher's entrance test. You don't know what you will become in your future, right? So you may choose any of the fields, right? So to have entry to that field, you have to attend competitive exams, and in all the competitive exams, you can expect question on any of these people. That is why purposely I showed you the pictures of all the four. So Cornwallis, Lord Wellesley, Lord Warren Hastings, and Lord Dalhousie. So in this lesson, we are going to discuss more about Lord Cornwallis and Lord Warren Hastings. So today we are going to start third lesson in the first semester of our SSLC. The history part it is the impact of British rule in India. Okay. I hope you all know the meaning of the term impact. Akshay, do you know what is the meaning of impact? Yes, exactly. Impact means results, prabhava, okay, parinama. So what was the impact of British rule over India? So that we have to discuss in detail in this lesson. See, so far we have studied about Anglo-Maratha Wars, Anglo-Sikh Wars, Carnatic Wars, Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar. We have studied about subsidiary alliance. We have studied about your doctrine of lapse. Then we have studied about how British used the policy of divide and rule to expand their political power in India. Initially, they came to India only with the purpose of trading here and to earn a profit. But afterwards, what did they do? They observed the political conditions prevailing in India at that time, and they decided to take advantage of that. And finally, with all these types of tactics, maybe through wars, maybe through negotiations, or maybe through divide and rule policy, they occupied political power over India. Then afterwards what happened? Slowly, according to their rules and regulations, according to the way in which they looked after the administration in their country, in the same way, they tried to establish administration in India. Okay. So the primary impact of British rule in India was, for the first time, India came under the control of a single hand. Okay. See, you have seen that India was ruled by different dynasties, different kings, different emperors have ruled our country. See, only for 2 times, large part of India was under the control of single hand. First of all, during the time of your Mauryas, okay, Chandragupta Maurya, then Ashoka, particularly during the time of Ashoka, India, large part of India, okay, was under the control of single hand. After Mauryans, Next one is Mughals. Okay, see, some 15 centuries, more than 15 centuries, Mughals came to power in 1506, I suppose, 1526, Akbar, 1506. First battle of Panipat. In which year first battle of Panipat was fought? Anybody remembers? Children, anybody remembers? First battle of Panipat. 1526. Okay. So Babur fought the first battle of Panipat against the this one, no, Delhi Sultans, no. After the first battle of Panipat, Mughals came to power in India, and during Mughals period, Akbar's time, Jahangir's time, Shah Jahan, then up to Aurangzeb's time, larger part of India was under the control of the single hand. Okay. After Mauryans, Mughals brought larger part of India under the single control, but after that, India could be brought under the rule of single person, or India was brought under single rule during the time of British. Okay. Yes, this was the primary impact. India didn't know at all. So India didn't know at all how large it was. Indians didn't know at all. So for the first time, it was done during the period of English. So maybe in the field of education, agriculture, okay, in all these fields, or land tax collection, police system, judicial system, then civil service, in all these areas, for the first time, same type of rules and regulations were introduced all over India. So that we have to study. See what changes were brought by British in all these areas. Civil service area, judicial system, then afterwards your police system, then in military what changes were brought in the land tax collection system, then what new acts, what new legislations were passed during English period, and what was the impact of all these things over Indians. So in detail we have to study about all these things. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the civil service. Okay, changes brought by the British in civil service. So who will tell me the meaning of civil service? What does it mean? Can anybody answer me? What is the meaning of civil service? ICS officer, you might have heard, no? Subhash Chandra Bose got 4th rank in ICS exam, Indian Civil Service exam. What is the meaning of this civil service? Yes. Do you know? You don't know. Anybody knows? Yes. Yes, Pannaga?
It is the administration.
Exactly, very good. Okay. So, administration, the people who serve in the field of administration, no, they are called civil servants. ಸಿವಿಲಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಗರಿಕರು ಅಂತ ಅರ್ಥ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಸೊ ನಾಗರಿಕರಿಗೆ ಸೇವೆ ಕೊಡುವಂತಹ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ ಅವರು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟಿನ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಜಾಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತವರು ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಸರ್ವೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಾ? ಸೊ in civil service, what changes were brought by the British East India Company? So now, the period which we are discussing now, no? So in this period, British East India Company ruled India. English Parliament or English government did not directly participate in any matter. It was the English East India Company who brought changes, which brought changes in India. It was English East India Company who ruled India up to 1857. Okay, up to 1857, the East India Company and its officers controlled India. Okay, so in civil service, in the beginning, the British used to appoint the officers for East India Company. No, later what happened? Whoever they wished, they were appointed by the British East India Company. Then in the year 1800, okay, in the year 1800, Lord Cornwallis. Just now I have shown you the picture of this person. In the year 1800, Lord Cornwallis, he established St. William's College in Kolkata. So for the people who wanted to make preparation for the civil service exams. Okay. Then he wanted to conduct competitive exams for selection. But what happened? The directors of English East India Company, they did not allow, they did not accept this procedure up to 1853. See, in the year 1800 itself, Lord Cornwallis had established St. William's College in Kolkata for the people who wanted to make preparation for civil service exams. But English East India Company, it did not accept that. The directors of English East India Company, that is why up to 1853, the directors of English East India Company, they only appointed the civil servants. Okay. Then what happened? In the year 1853, the competitive exams were started. But this competitive exams, it was meant for Indians, means Indians got only low grade jobs. So British East India Company and its officers never believed in the efficiency of Indians. So they thought that Indians were inefficient to work in the higher posts. And another thing, Lord Cornwallis, he had declared that Indians, all the Indians were corrupt. Okay, that is why they are not eligible to work in the higher posts. So for these two reasons, first one is English, the officers of English East India Company, they did not believe in the efficiency of Indians. That is one thing. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಚಲೋ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಹೇಳೋ ನಂಬಿಕೆನೇ ಅವರಿಗಿಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. They did not believe in the efficiency of Indians. Second one is they thought that all the Indians were corrupt. ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ವಾ ಅವರು ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ಲಾಸಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಮೀರ್ ಜಾಫರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಜಗತ್ ಸೇಠ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಉಮಿ ಚಂದ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಮಾಣಿಕ್ ಚಂದ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕರಪ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷಿಗೆ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು. ಪ್ರತಿ ಯುದ್ಧದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಹೌ ಕರಪ್ಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ವರ್. ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯುನಿಟಿ ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಿತ್ತು, ಗ್ರೀಡಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಇಂದು. ಹೌದಾ? ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತಹ ಏನು ಇಮ್ಮಾರಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನಿದೆ, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. That is why Lord Cornwallis declared that all the Hindustanis were corrupt, and that is why they don't have any right to serve in the higher posts. That is how, even though competitive examinations started in the year 1853, Indians did not get much opportunity to serve in the higher posts of civil service. Okay? Any doubts here, children? Do you have any doubts? Okay. So, once you go through the pages. Yes. Go through all the points once. Stop. Yes. Mahesh? Mahesh? Mahesh, in which year St. William's College was established by Lord Cornwallis in Kolkata? Mahesh?
Yes, ma'am.
In which year that college was established? I told no. St. Huh?
2018 year.
1800. Okay, 1800 means 1800. In the year 1800, St. William's College was established by Lord Cornwallis. Then, next one is why Indians did not get benefits from these competitive exams. Competitive exams started in the year 1853, no, for the selection of civil servants. Why Indians did not get opportunity, better opportunity, or why Indians did not get benefits? Will it be answered by Anjali?
British know the grading of the Indians.
British?
They may have the Indians that they were so greedy and they were so corrupted.
Okay, your voice is not very clear, Hari. So thank you. Preeti? Nivedita? Yes, Nivedita.
Yes, Mataji.
Tell me why Indians did not get much benefits.
Because Lord Wellesley thought that all the natives of Hindustan are completely corrupt and efficiency of the Indians.
Yes, they did not have belief in the efficiency of Indians. That is right. Okay. Yes, thank you very much. So after this, next topic is judicial system. Okay. What changes were brought by the British government in judicial system? Yes. So before British started ruling India, no, the strongest empire in India was the Mughal Empire. So up to 1707, up to the death of Aurangzeb, Mughal Empire was very strong. So Aurangzeb was also one of the strongest emperors of Mughals. No, so these Mughals, they ruled a larger area of India, and that is why Mughal administration was there. Mughal judicial system was there. So this Mughal judicial system was replaced by the judicial system which was introduced by British. So they introduced centralized judicial system, and you have learned that in the year 1765, Robert Clive had introduced a new system called dual government. You remember, no children? Dual government, dual governance, or dual administration system. So here, English, the Indians had got the authority to collect the tax, then to look after the appointment of civil service, means to look after civil service, means administration and judicial system. Indians had the authority to collect the tax. Listen to me carefully. Indians had the authority to collect the tax, then to look after administration, that is civil area, and to look after the judicial system. Whereas the authority to manage the tax collected by Indians, that was given to English East India Company. Indians had to collect the land tax, but the management of the amount collected by Indians as land revenue, no, that was managed by whom? that was managed by English East India Company. So it was called dual government system, and it was introduced in the year 1765 by Robert Clive. Shah Alam II had given Diwani right, no? Diwani right means what, children? Right to collect the tax. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. ಯಾವ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ಫರ್ಟೈಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀಜನ್ಸ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇದೆ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು. So the British didn't know all these things. So that is why what did they do? They made the Indians to collect the land revenue. Indians hatrane collect ಮಾಡಿಸ್ತಿದ್ರು. But the authority of managing the collected amount, that they kept it for themselves. So in this way, with this dual government system, British, they introduced their administration system in India, and they decided to introduce centralized judicial system in India. And in judicial system, Lord Warren Hastings, he came to India in the year 1772 as the governor of Bengal Presidency. Then in 1773, he was appointed as the first Governor General of India. So this Lord Warren Hastings, he introduced or he brought many changes, significant changes in judicial system. What did he do? For every district, he established two types of courts. Okay, for every district, two types of courts. Now also we have the same kind of judicial system. So there will be a civil court and there will be a criminal court. Civil court ಮತ್ತೆ criminal court ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಹೇಳೋದನ್ನ 9th standard ಅಲ್ಲಿ you have learned. Actually, do you remember what is a criminal court?
Criminal court which deals with the accident and criminal activities. Criminal
offences, alva, will be dealt by this criminal courts. Your theft, robbery, dacoity, murder, then cheating, all these come under criminal case. Civil case ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಅಕ್ಕಪಕ್ಕದ ಮನೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂತಹ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಯೂಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಯುವರ್ ಸಿವಿಲ್ ಕೋಡ್. So this was established by whom? Lord Warren Hastings in all the districts. Every district had got two types of courts, civil courts and criminal courts. So civil courts were called Diwani Adalat. Okay, Adalat, you know the meaning, no? In Hindi, Adalat means court. Hoda? So Diwani Adalat was the civil court. Faujidar Adalat was the criminal court. Okay, Diwani Adalat and Faujidar Adalat. So in this Diwani Adalat, your civil court, it was directly under the control of British East India Company. Andre civil court alli judges yaru irtidru? British re irtidru, Europeans irtidru. So civil court, Diwani Adalat, they were under the direct control of the British East India Company, whereas criminal courts were under the control of Qazis. Okay, Qazi andre judge anta artha. So it is Persian word Qazi. So Qazi andre judge anta artha. So criminal courts were under the control of Qazis, but these Qazis had to work under the British East India Company. Qazis were controlled by British East India Company. So this was the difference between civil court and criminal court. Then for Hindus there was separate law, and for Muslims there was a separate law. See, divide and rule policy. So ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದ divide and rule policy ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಇರೋದು you can see here. ಹೌದಾ? So 1773 during Lord Warren Hastings time itself, so uniform civil code ಅನ್ನ ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಬಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡು for Hindus separate law, for Muslims separate law. Hindus got justice according to Hindu scriptures, maybe our Bhagavad Gita. So according to the Hindu scripture, according to Hindu law, Hindus got decisions or judgments, judicial justice, whereas Muslims got justice according to Muslim law, Shariat law of the base for Muslims. In this way, Hindus got justice according to Hindu law, Hindu scriptures, whereas Muslims got justice according to Muslim law and Muslim scriptures. In this way, many changes were brought, introduced in the judicial system. Diwani Adalat and next one is Faujidar Adalat. Diwani Adalat was civil court, Faujidar Adalat was criminal court. So all these remarkable changes were brought by the first Governor General of India. It was Lord Warren Hastings. So for this, let me share you a page once you go through all the points. Yes, once you go through all the points. Yes, see here at the end of the lesson, one question is there. The question is like this. So illustrate the judicial system formulated through East India Company. So in this page, I have started from point 3, no? Next page, I have written point 1 and 2 later, okay? Yes, here you have point number 1 and point number 2. This you have to write in the beginning, point number 1 and point number 2, then start from there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like that. Okay. So I think you all have you seen the page there? Raise your hands and tell me yes. Was the page shared? Did you go through all the points? Yes, very nice. Children, now the meeting will end within 2 minutes. Let us do one thing. We will end the meeting here itself and we will rejoin the meeting with the same link. End the meeting and rejoin with the same link.